We're good. All right, Tomas, share the good news.
All right. So I was talking to an agent, I think 2 days ago, and when you're talking on the recruiting, you do that question from 0 to 10, 0 being you hate me right now and you want to end this call, or 10,
Yeah.
you're ready for today. He was like, okay, I'm an 8 because this and that. And she was on about, oh, I'm loyal to my broker. And then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna say what Elizabeth says every time. And then I went about, are you more loyal to your broker or to yourself? And she was like, okay, I'm ready to join right now. So from an 8 to a 10 with a simple Elizabeth Riley catchphrase, that's how you recruit an agent.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So where are they? What market?
This one is in Georgia. She's
Oh,
a managing broker. She's going to be focused only on recruitment. And I also want to introduce to the group one of our new partners as well, Stephanie Wilkinson, here from Boston, Massachusetts, which is an absolute powerhouse. And
hi, Stephanie.
Hello, nice to meet everybody.
Welcome.
yeah,
Welcome to our
she's the
crew.
leader. She's the leader we've been looking for.
Love it, love it, love it. Well, we're thrilled that you're here. We can't wait to get to know you better. And I know that everybody will be excited to pour into you. And I know you're going to share some awesome stuff with us over the time period. So thank you for the introduction. Tomas, in Georgia, where in Georgia? I'm in Atlanta next week. So if they're anywhere near there, then I'll connect with them.
All right. I'll
Let me know. Just send me a note offline and we'll figure out how to support them.
I'll text you for sure.
Perfect. Cool. So good morning. I can't believe all your videos are off, y'all. So you need to turn them on and say hello and be happy and smiley. But I am so excited about Huddle this morning. Happy Friday. Has everybody had a great week? Yeah, those in Texas, are we all melting or are we still there? We're still okay? Yeah. I'm in a coat though, y'all, because my house is freezing. But all right. So Friday morning, this morning, I am so excited because we have a really awesome guest here that is going to bring the fire and pour into y'all. Cliff Freeman, if you guys don't know who he is, he's out of Dallas. We have become good friends throughout the years. If you look at 88,000 agents around EXP, Cliff is number 5 growth leader. Okay. So, but what's really awesome about Cliff, there's many awesome things about Cliff, but what's really awesome about Cliff is he's got a team as well. So he's in production. He's supporting his agents that are in production. And so he's kind of a hybrid as far as the attraction piece and the production piece. So he's got a lot of value to add. He's been doing this a long time, had his own brokerage, but he's an amazing friend. And I'm excited for him to be here this morning and y'all to get to know him like I've gotten to know him. So Cliff, thank you, my friend, for being here. And Cliff, this is our Friday morning huddle. We'll have more people jumping in throughout the morning, but I'm going to let you just run with what you're passionate about. I never like it when people are like, okay, I want you to talk about this, because if you're not passionate about something, then you're not going to be as excited. So I want you to share what you feel would be valuable. This is all production based for the most part. Sometimes we'll throw in attraction as well, but I want you to just run with it this morning and tell everybody a little bit about you. And then the stage is yours, my friend. You're still muted. I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, there you are.
I apologize, but my wife sometimes she's got a mute button, a remote mute button for me, and she'll use it from time to time. Kay, I just love. Is that the newest member to the to this group that you have in your arms there?
Yeah, she's the newest tribe. Well, I don't know if the newest anymore, tribe baby, but definitely the youngest Lux Property Group baby.
I love it. I love it. Realtors in training. You know, I joke. I've had my license for, gosh, I hate to admit it, 38 years. And my mom was a realtor with Ebby Holiday here back when Ebby worked out of a little white house off of Preston, and I'm in Dallas, off of Preston and Northwest Highway. And I often joked that I was born into the business. And I used to tell people that my mom was out showing houses when she was pregnant with me in her water.
Oh, no problem, no problem.
So I was literally born into the business. And it's also a business I swore I would never get into. I don't know what it is about boys growing up. You know, we don't drink the same beer that our dad did. We don't want to do the same thing that our mom did. And for me, real estate was really the last choice. But I think that, you know, during that time, that the Lord was just preparing me for something that he had planned a lot bigger that I could see. You know, I grew up and as an only child here in Dallas and was into academics, wanted to be an electrical engineer. And you know, when I got to school, I realized that there were kids a lot smarter than me that were going to clean my clock, so to speak. And I needed to figure out something else to do. So I took a business route and had some ups and downs. But you know, life is a lot better if you're on the roller coaster than if you're on the merry-go-round, is what I like to liken that to. And real estate can be a little bit like that. Is this a crazy market? Have you guys ever seen anything like this in your lives before? I never have. I've seen a lot of ups and downs in our business. Back in the 80s, we had interest rates in the 10, 12, 14% range. Builders were buying down, just like they're doing now, buying down rates for buyers so they could just qualify. It was a crazy market, but it was much different than what was happening in, say, 2008, when we had tons of inventory on the market. Who was here in 2008? Anybody a realtor back in 08? Let's see. Good. We've got quite a few people. For those of you who were not around in 2008, look at those people with their hands up. You're going to want to be friends with them, because surviving these crazy markets is one of the best things you can do for your careers. What's the old saying about a rising tide, right? It raises all ships. And it's at times like these, guys, where, you know, normally we focus on how many deals we're doing, how much volume we're doing, and so forth. This is a really good time to sit back and reflect how well we're doing relative to everybody else in our market. Does that make sense? In other words, look, sales are going to be down. Don't beat yourself up over that. The markets are constricted. Interest rates are too high. We don't have inventory, but we're still going to have people that need to go, I call it up and down the tollway. We have lots of tollways in Dallas. You guys have them in Austin. Tollways in Texas are how we build highways now. The government is so messed up that there's never enough money to build highways here. So think of yourself as you're the toll booth on the tollway, right? It's just that there are fewer cars going up and down right now. So as we look at this, the next couple of years, and what's going to come out of this is, here's in my opinion, if I had to read the tea leaves and predict, I would say that there are probably going to be much fewer total numbers of agents in the business. How many of you folks think that we have too many real estate agents in the business right now? Let me see a show of hands. That better be everybody, okay? And that's the problem, is there's nothing that controls the number of agents that we have. So as such, we have the pie has shrunk, the commission pie has shrunk. And I read recently that the percentage of commissions that's taken by agents that are only doing a couple of deals a year is growing right now, which means that for those of us who are doing this full time, those agents are cutting into our money. Okay. Now think about that for a minute. Why would that be? Why would those agents continue to still be able to sell a couple of houses a year? Well, what are their sources of lead gen? Probably friends and family is about it, right? So they haven't lost friends, most likely, and most likely they haven't lost family. So they've still got those 1 or 2 transactions a year that they can scrape off the bottom of the pot, so to speak. But if you look at lead flow, and what I'm talking about is for those of us who do lead generation, how many of y'all have Zillow or a company like Realty.com or KB Core? How many of you are generating Google pay-per-click leads? Let me see a show of hands, because I want to ask you a question. Lacey, you are? Who else? Who else has got money going into buyer leads, for example. Lacey, have you noticed recently traffic down, buyer lead traffic down in, say, the past 6 months? You're muted. You're taking after me here.
There we go.
Here we
I
are.
actually am joining you guys today because I'm thinking about joining your tribe, and I get like old Zillow leads right now, but no one's like serious about buying or anything.
Okay. Well, I'll give you an example. Last year, I was spending about $70,000 a year on Zillow leads. Sorry, did I say a year? I'm in a month.
Yeah, y'all listen to what he just said, $70,000.
And what I noticed was, if you recall, back in the summer, things were just absolutely crazy. There was multiple offers everywhere. There were people they were waiving everything. They were bringing their firstborn to closing. I mean, it was absolutely almost impossible to buy a house. And the result of that was things just cratered, right? You can always see the top. It gets very frothy. And then all of a sudden, all those people, the people that just had to have a house, once they got a house, boom, everybody else was like, I ain't gonna pay 100,000 over listing or 200,000 or whatever. That's crazy. That's my dip into my 401k. That's not a good plan, not a good plan at all. So what we saw is the number of buyers, as rates continue to go up, the number of buyers who were actively searching started to drop dramatically. In fact, I fired Zillow in November. I got to be honest with you, and I'm not here to bash Zillow, but I really don't think they always have our best interest at heart. Do you? Do you guys think they're really out here for the agents?
Sure.
I really don't think they are. I think that they just use us, and it's like working for the man. We have a job. If you're on a flex team, it's a job. It really is. And you're paying 35% of your money. Most teams don't even operate at a 35% profit margin. Okay. So just to put that in perspective. Now, we also saw pay-per-click costs go up because there were fewer leads, people chasing fewer people. So at the end of the day, I think that's what's happening, is that our other lead sources have gotten a little bit tighter. So in a market like this, where you have a shortage of inventory, do you recall, Elizabeth, I know in Austin was one of the hottest markets in the country. You guys were top 3, I think, between Boise, it was Boise, Austin, and I forget the other one. But I mean, it got so bad in Austin. I heard rumors that people were taking listings for free just so they could get the buy side of the transaction. What's it been like there trying to get listings?
Yeah, I mean, that is true. I have a number of people that would take listings for free, and, quite frankly, they'd get burned because the sellers weren't seeing the value if they're willing to give up their commission, and then they're paying marketing dollars and things like that. So market is still strong here if you're priced right, and if your property is ready, show ready, and it's almost picture perfect. Those are going quick, but then there's a lot of them that are just sitting on the market a lot. And so I've fired sellers. We've talked about this on the last calls, that I've fired sellers. We turned down a listing earlier this week because they're not being realistic. And so if we're focused on clients that aren't being realistic in this market and are not listening to our guidance and our expertise, they're hiring a professional for a reason. But if they're not listening to us, then we're just spinning our wheels, and it's taking us away from those that do need our services. And so you have to be a lot more intentional in this market. You have to have a lot of communication, because there's a lot of misinformation out there that consumers are hearing, and they're not sure if it's true. And it's not, a lot of it's not true. But if we're not communicating with our clients, they're just going to the next person, the next person, the next person. So the market is definitely adjusted, and we just have to communicate that to our clients and be more proactive in our conversations instead of being reactive when they come to us and say, why is my house still sitting there?
Yes, exactly. So how many of you have ever looked at the back of your real estate license? If you look at the back of your real estate license, on the back of it, nowhere does it say that you have to work with anybody who knocks on your door. And so I want you to write a word down, just a one word. but I want you to write this down. It's really important. When you're dealing with people in this market, this is the key word you've got to remember. And the word is reasonable. Reasonable. In this market, you only want to work with reasonable people. Like Elizabeth was talking about, we have sellers that think that their house is worth more than the market is willing to pay. That's unreasonable. That's not somebody you want to work with. If you spend all your time working with unreasonable buyers and sellers, you're going to have skinny kids and not very many presents under the tree come Christmas. Okay. They will make you show them 50 houses. They'll make you run circles, do open houses every day. They'll make you do all of the crazy stuff that they think that you should do because they are not professionals. Remember, most of these people learn about real estate from what TV channel? And on House Hunters, how many houses do they look at before they buy one? We know that's not true, right? We know that's not true. They want to see every dress on the rack and try it on, right? And have you ever had those buyers that like to go through people's closets and comment about what they keep in their drawers, and they'll look in their refrigerator and say, these folks don't eat right. It's crazy. They do all kinds of unreasonable things. So that if you will run a business with reasonable clients, I promise you'll go a lot further, a lot faster. So that is the thing I want you guys to remember, especially in these markets that'll get a little bit wonky because people tend to get very unreasonable. Now, when it comes back to lead gen, you know, if you had a listing back in the summer, what do you think the chances were that it was going to sell? Close to 100. Brian's got his thumb up. How you doing, Brian, man? I missed you in San Antonio.
I was there. I saw you, but you were busy on the phone closing deals.
We were like two ships passing in the night, my friend.
I love it.
So the thing is that listings were almost a guaranteed layup, right? That's why people were doing them for free so they could hopefully get the buy side out of the seller. But now Elizabeth just said, hey, if you've got sellers who don't want to do the work to get the house in the proper condition, that house is going to sit on the market. Folks, we have a market of people who want to buy move-in ready, excellent condition homes. This is not a this is not a market for flippers. You get that, right? You don't see a lot of investors out there right now flipping money with rates where they are, house prices where they are. It's really hard to generate a return. That's why you're seeing houses sit on the market. Where did the iBuyers go? What happened to them? They don't work in this market, do they? Some of us thought that iBuyers could make money in every market, but the fact is that really they can only make money when the market's going up because they buy assets, and in order for them to make money, they have to appreciate. There's just no other way around it. So my question to you is, number one, who's your avatar right now? Who is your perfect client? And I'd like to ask those of you who know who your perfect client is, share that with us. Who's the perfect client for you to deal with right now?
For me, my perfect client is someone in the sports and entertainment world, probably an athlete who kind of has an idea of what they want, and I'm not worried about them getting qualified for a mortgage.
I like that. Why is that a good avatar? Why is that a good client to work with? Number one, you just said it, Julia. You don't have to worry about them getting qualified for a mortgage, right? Why else?
Because I don't know, because they have options, and it's not, they can be a somewhat reasonable client most of the time.
Hey, most of those guys, when you get them off the field or off the court, they're pretty reasonable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about the fact that they don't buy starter homes either, do they?
No, but yeah, exactly. That's the reason why. Correct.
Okay. So friends, there's only 3 ways you can make more money in real estate. Number one is you can do like Julie is doing, sell a higher priced house. Number two is you can deal with more clients and generate more leads and get more prospects. And number three is you can increase the frequency with which your clients buy. Now, what I mean by that is, do you realize that today the average time that homeowners stay in their primary residence has increased from about 7 years to almost 10 years? Now, what happens to the velocity of commissions as people are staying in their homes lower? Houses are not turning over as fast, right? So we don't have as many commissions happening in the market. House prices are up. Do you realize that if you joined EXP 6.5 years ago, and you're selling the same number of houses today that you did back then, that you're making almost twice as much money in most markets? Why is that?
Because the price of the homes, that's an example for me. That's exactly what happened. I joined EXP about 5 years ago, and I've doubled each year, pretty much doubled what I started selling from the beginning. But yes, because the cost of the houses are more, so that's why.
Exactly. So my point of all this, number one, is just because your sales are down, it's not time to panic. House prices are holding firm in most markets. We're still making a lot more money today on an individual transaction than we did 5 or 10 years ago. So that's okay. All right. So it's not time to panic. The sky is not falling. Everything is going to work itself out. But what we have now is, if you're going after first-time home buyers or apartment renters is your primary source of income, times could be very lean for you. Until things loosen up a little bit, those folks are not going to be mobile. They're not going to be able, those are going to be the toughest people to work with to get them into a house. So it really is time to change what we're doing in terms of our marketing and what we're saying. If you want to continue to do business in this kind of a market, you've got to work with buyers who can compete at this level. So think about what you're doing, who you're marketing to, how you're perceived in the market. And I hate to say this because I hate to leave the first-time home buyers behind, guys. But the reality is that they're going to be a smaller part of our business going forward. Do you know what the single biggest impediment to a first-time home buyer is? Period.
Down payment.
Thank you, Brian. It's saving up the money for the down payment. Okay. And as we have seen houses, friends, incomes have not kept up with the increase in house prices, have they? I mean, you talk to people out on the street, their incomes haven't doubled in the last 5 years. Unfortunately, the down payment that it takes for these folks to get into new homes has doubled. Now, there's a way, I think somebody just put something in the chat here. There is a niche that many of you, who works anybody else from Texas work Killeen, Fort Hood, in that area? Why is that going to be a good area to work in there?
Military?
Well, yeah, just like Silas. Silas is in El Paso. I think, Silas, you work with a lot of military, right? Yeah, Silas works with a ton of military. So those military markets are pretty strong right now.
Why is that?
Silas, jump in there. You guys are super quiet this morning.
Oh, yeah. I think for me, it's because the constant rotation is like right now it's GCS season for them. So they're getting ready to move out, and then a lot of them are coming in. So they're talking to each other back and forth. They already know each other. So you got that constant flow.
It's the no down payment for the VA loan.
Thank you, Christy.
That
It's
too.
no down payment. And guess what? When these veterans get told they have to move, they're motivated. They don't get a second choice. Okay. They're told they have to go to North Carolina by August. They got to go. There's no, there ain't no arguing with the government about when they're going to leave.
And
So-
Cliff, to that point too, for all of, I work with a ton of VA buyers as well, and they weren't able to compete, right? The market last year was impossible for them. I I think I have 5 VA buyers right now, and now they have an opportunity because before people were like, here's the other thing. A lot of sellers and a lot of agents don't understand the VA process. So when they see 0 down payment, they assume that means they're not qualified. And what you have to do is educate people. This is not a FHA type of a situation or they're trying to scrape pennies by. I mean, I've got $1 million plus VA buyers that they can put down 0% if they want, and they've earned that right to do that. So a lot of times when I have a VA buyer, it's so critical to talk to not only the listing agent, but just to make sure that everybody understands the process and making sure you have a lender that is super well versed in all these products. And I have my VA specific lender call that listing agent to make sure they understand, because otherwise they say, oh, well, they can't afford this house, which is completely opposite. But now your VA buyers can compete. Into Cliff's point, they're moving all the time. The government, it's not like, oh, okay, I think I'll move next month. Government says you go. I mean, I had a client who built a $1.3 million house. It was his last house, his dream house. We closed on it in October. He got notice in November that he was moving to DC in February. Like, he lost his tail on that thing, but they don't have a choice on that. So we have a lot of people on VA. So just make sure you have your team. And when we're talking about teams, we're talking about your title, your lenders, your home, everybody around you, making sure they're well versed and they can help support you and your clients whenever they have to have those conversations.
So let me sum up what we're talking about here in this way. What got you where you are is not going to get you where you're going. What got you where you are, the business you did in 2022 is going to be completely different than the business you're going to do this year. Not only in the type of people you may be working with, but you may have to learn a whole new set of loans like VA. Okay. You're going to have to get in front of different people because those other people are cocooning. They're in their nest. They're not going to move until rates come down. Okay. There was a lot of fluidity in the market before. And if we have rates go back to 5.5 or below, you'll see some of the old times return. But until then, even the talk tracks that we use, the language that we use has to be relevant. Because what you were telling people 12 months ago is not what's going on right now. So you've really got to stay on top of things. How many of you guys use tools like, for example, Altos Research or other tools to help you keep abreast of market absorption, interest rate trends, things like that? Are you guys really doing enough homework to stay on top of this stuff so that you can educate your buyers? Because friends, I got to tell you, those realtors that were encouraging people to pay $200,000 above list back in June have some really unhappy clients right now. Okay. And those agents were out. I hate to say this, but that would not be the recommendation that I would make to a client, to go out and overpay that much and waive appraisal and waive inspection and all of that sort of thing. You guys think that was really good advice for those people, those buyers back then? No, I don't either. Some of us, our clients got out of control and told us to do it. I mean, what are you going to do? Fire the client for wanting to overpay for a house? They have the money. It's a hard call. But we're still going to see, I think we're still going to see lawsuits and things that arise because of that. Again, what's the word that we always want to consider on every real estate transaction now? Is it reasonable? Okay, that includes what we're paying for the house. Is it reasonable? So to sum things up here, and I just kind of wanted to touch on this because it is so important. Over the years, what I've learned in the 38 years I've been in the business is that things continually change. That's why you're never going to be able to buy a house out of a vending machine, because each transaction is so unique and the market at any given time is so unique. All these companies like Zillow that want to do away with agents are going to fail at it. Okay. Because you've got to have somebody with a brain involved in the transaction to guide your client through the 168 variables that need to be managed. They don't even understand all the things that impact the outcome of a real estate transaction. And you know what? If you mess up even one of those variables, it could cause a significant financial loss for your client, right? We all know the stories. We've heard the stories about agents who didn't have competency in an area that screwed up. You know, that's the reason why you don't want to be a broker. You don't want to have one of those people under you that goes and really messes things up, because you'll spend time in court. I can tell you, our managing broker here, Tony King, even though we try, he spends a lot of time in court, because we have agents who continually, not repeatedly, but we just seem to have agents that get on board and don't know what they're doing, and they do stupid stuff. And so that's what gets us in trouble. Don't be one of those agents, particularly as these markets, again, as they change. You've really got to be aware of what the products are, the loan products, you know, how to handle these people, how to get offers accepted, that sort of thing. If you're a seller, man, Elizabeth just nailed it earlier. If your sellers are not willing to put the work in to get the property and move in condition, top condition, and then price it right, then you're going to have one of those. Once it gets past the average days on market, that's never land. Okay, if you haven't sold a home in this market by the time the average days on market occurs, it's going to be nothing but price reductions. Now, speaking about that, can we talk just for a minute, Elizabeth, about strategies with sellers that simply insist that they want to start with the house? They're reasonable, but they want to start with the house priced above where you know it should be priced. Would you take a listing from a seller if they said, I know you think it's worth $850. I just want to shoot $875 out there and see if we can find somebody to take it. How would you structure that agreement, that listing agreement with that seller to guarantee that they're not going to get themselves in a hole?
Yeah, I love this because we've talked about this a number of times with different agents, especially on the listing side, because sellers are, again, they're looking at wrong information. They're looking at Zillow. I always love that. Oh, well, Zillow tells me this, and I have to, again, it's education. You have to tell them Zillow doesn't have accurate data. I have the accurate data. Let's go over this. So when I'm sitting in a listing presentation, and this I learned after years of not, so it's like, instead of, learn from my mistakes or learn from our mistakes or things that we've learned over the years. But I used to sit there and in my marketing presentation, we'd talk about the numbers and things like that. And then you could see their body language change depending on what number you said. What I started doing though, is I would sit there and I have all my comps and I have all my numbers, and we'll go over pre-listing packets and listing presentations and stuff like that later on. But now what I do is I'll ask them, I have all the numbers here and I'll have the comps, and we are going to walk through all the comps. I'm just curious though. What do you think your home is worth? Right? And I always ask that question now because they have an idea in their head, y'all. They saw that their neighbor's house down the street sold it for this, even though it's not a comp in their mind, it is. And so I'll ask them, what do you think your home is worth? And prime example, the listing I went on Monday, the little woman is 80 years old and she's like, it's worth $700,000. Y'all, her house is maybe worth $550. Okay. And I was like, okay, so that way I can go into the numbers, understanding what their expectation is. And so what I told her is like, well, Norma, all right, let's see what we can do. And let me show you what the numbers I have. And maybe I'm missing something and help me get to the numbers. So usually if she says, okay, it's 700,000, I can say, well, we have some work to do. Let's get there. Or what if she told me, I think it's worth 500,000, and I could say, well, I have some great news for you. Right? I think your number is worth more. So if I have an agent that's combating, I never want people to think I'm competing against them. I want them to know that I'm partnering with them. This is a partnership and I'm locking arms with them. So what I'll do, if I really want that listing and if I think I can get this thing sold, then I will say, you know what? I hope I'm wrong. I hope your home is worth 700,000. How about this? Why don't we list your home? My market is showing me this. My data is showing me this, but there could be some off market data that I don't have. And it's really what the buyer wants to pay. There might be a buyer out there that loves your house and they don't care what the price is, they have to have it. So why don't we do this? We'll list it at 700,000. However, stats show me that after 2 weeks, it's going to be stale. I go over all that with them. So we'll list it at 700,000, but I'm gonna write in the listing agreement that if we don't have an offer, not showings, y'all, okay? If we don't have an offer within 2 weeks, sellers and agent are going to reconvene and we're going to adjust the price according to current comps. And so when they have it in writing and they all sign off on it, they feel like you're working with them, not against them. Does that make sense? And so that's what I started implementing years and years and years ago. There have been times where I have a relationship with a client and I don't put it in there, and I'm kicking myself later because I knew that I should have put it in there. So be consistent and put it in there. And it works every single time, because then, I mean, I'm communicating with them all the time anyway about showings and feedback and things like that. But at that 2-week mark, when they know that I'm calling them and we're sitting down for a meeting, they know what it's for. So it's not a surprise. So that's what I do, Cliff. I would love to hear what you do as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, it's the studies have shown that the best time to sell a house is in the first 2 weeks it's on the market. And if you don't have a seller understand, I mean, think about, we use that term shop warn. How many of you guys have ever been to Black Friday? Is that what it is after Thanksgiving? I
don't.
It's where all the stores, I mean, if you go into Walmart at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, if you're not the first one at the door, right? By the time, if you go in the afternoon, I mean, all those clothes are all over the place, right? I mean, it looks like a tornado blew through the store. So if you're not buying the minute they get on the market houses, because that's when the good ones go, right? There's enough buyers out there to ensure that there's not a house that's going to slip through the cracks, that's a real gem that's going to be on the market very long. It's just the market is too efficient. So if your house doesn't sell in the first 2 weeks, there's only three things actually, that can impact that. Number one is the condition. The condition, people see it and they get in there and it smells like dog urine and stuff like that, or cat pee. They walk right out. Okay. That's number one. Number two is the marketing. And if you don't have the most professional, the key to getting people into the house is the picture. In other words, it's like the menu. When you order something off the menu, your head, right, is attracted to that thing that you visualize is going to be the most unbelievable thing you could ever want to eat. That house, the pictures and the property description, if you're not marketing that house at the highest level, then you're not going to have people wanting to see it and your showings are going to be down. But the bottom line is, if you've got people there that are showing up and the house is in great condition and you're not getting any offers, there's only one thing that can be wrong. Guess what that is? Price. So I have a little couple of different tools I use, but you can just, when you're explaining it to a seller, say, look, if we get into a situation where we have to cut the price, if we don't do it fast enough, we're going to wind up cutting twice. And here's what I mean by that. When we cut, if it's been a month, we have to cut it. Number one, we have to cut it back to get it to the market level, because we've been above market. Again, it goes back to reasonable. I can't get you an unreasonable price. I can get you top of the market. That's reasonable. But if we're not even in the parking lot, let alone in the ballpark, then that's unreasonable. And I can't do the unreasonable. Okay. So we need to get it at least into the ballpark. Now, the problem with that is that now the listing's 30 days old. Realtors aren't even going to notice it unless we give it another cut that's deep enough that realtors go, oh, these sellers, they finally came to their senses. They're being reasonable now. Okay. Now that there's a discount on the house, I'll go show it. So the timing of the price cuts is incredible. I tell my agents all the time, when you get on the phone and you do your listing updates on Fridays or whenever you do them, and you say, we've got to drop the price this weekend, or we're going to be in deep water. And I mean deep water, like when you start getting past the average days on market, you have to be below market after that point. Okay, period. That's it. So, and I can tell my agents, getting a price reduction is as good as getting a new listing. Because if you don't get that price reduction, chances are that listing is going to expire and you're going to lose it. So like Elizabeth said, we try to build in price cuts along the way, and we get them to agree. If we don't have at least 8 offers and 2 showings in the first week or 2 weeks, then the buyer agrees to reduce the price. And I don't mean a token reduction, like going from 800,000 to 7999999. I'm talking about a reduction that gets it into market value again. And you'll know what that is because you did the work on the CMA, but it might be significant. It could be as much as 5%. But if you get them to agree to that in advance, then you don't have to get on and fight with them about it and all of that stuff. So it's really important that you do the grind, you do the hard work before you put it on the market. Yes, you can take a listing that's slightly overpriced under the condition that the seller will be reasonable about getting it priced in alignment with the market. Okay. I mean, in the past, in the summer, house prices were moving so fast, comps were really unreliable, weren't they? I mean,
Well, the appraisers couldn't keep up.
it was
right?
a fast market.
Yeah.
Right. It was a really fast market. So because of that, it was really difficult to convince a seller that they needed to be reasonable because it was an unreasonable market. Okay. So again, you're the one, there's this old saying that if you don't manage your clients, guess what? Your clients are going to manage you. And that's the tail wagging the dog. And that's why you've got to be the trusted advisor, the expert, and you've got to be a force. You're the one, even though it's their decision ultimately where to price it, it's your decision whether you will take the listing at that price. Okay.
Yeah, I always tell you guys, not all business is good business, right?
So look at the back of your license and tell me, does it say on the back of your license that you have to work with anybody that comes looking for you? The answer is no. Okay. Because when do we get paid? We only get paid if one thing happens. What is that? We get a closing. That's the only time. I've never gotten paid unless I had a closing. Have I ever taken listings where there was no closing? I have. And it's painful. And many of you are not putting into your listings that all your marketing expenses get reimbursed if the listing gets canceled or expires.
Hey, and Cliff, to that, I used to not do that, by the way, because I was like, you know what, I'm being paid well, and oh, we're all happy here, kumbaya. And what's happened is I've been burned so many times because they don't take it serious. Or what's really something we're seeing right now, I've had three of these happen where they get panicked and it's not selling, so then they turn to lease it instead. So all of your marketing dollars and all of your effort and things like that are now reduced down to a lease amount, which is very, very small. So Cliff, to your point, like you've got to know your worth and your value. This is not a hobby. We are business professionals. These are your marketing dollars. These are your expenses. And if they're not being reasonable, like Cliff keeps saying, then you have the right to ask for that. But it's setting those expectations up front. It's setting those expectations up at the listing appointment, in the listing agreement, writing it in the different areas, saying your transactional expenses or your reimbursable expenses, so that they know up front, so there's no surprises down the road. Because if there's surprises, that doesn't go well for anybody. But if you set that expectation, then you can say, remember when we spoke about this? Yes, we did. We spoke about this. Okay, this is where we are now. We're going to need to make some adjustments. And so then everybody works a little bit better together and they don't feel like somebody's trying to take advantage.
Yeah. If they won't fire you near as quickly if they know they're going to have to reimburse you for your marketing expenses. Okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, have you ever had a lawyer agree to work with you without requiring some type of a retainer? Of course not. Okay. So why are we the only professionals who will roll the dice and say, sure, I'll list it for you and I'll go invest all my money into it. And, and if you go batshit crazy, it doesn't matter. I'll eat what I put into it. I mean, that's a stupid tax that we pay. We shouldn't be doing that. Elizabeth, I need to ask you a favor. I have to, it's a long story, but I'm going to have to leave a little bit early today and
You're good.
But I wanted to, if it's okay with you, I really want to encourage the group here that this is one of those times in real estate where you can't coast. The last couple of years, friends, has been really easy. You probably tripped on real estate deals in the last 2 years. You probably had people, you probably earned money that you worked very little to earn. But what I'm going to tell you is the next 12 months is what's going to separate the realtors who come out successfully on the other end and those who go back selling shoes at Nordstrom's or whatever they were doing before, is going to be how hard they're going to do the grind. Okay. The grind, success in real estate is boring. Success in real estate is nothing but repetition of the right thing over and over and over. You don't have to be creative. You don't have to invent some new way to do something. All you have to do is block and tackle every day, the same thing. 2 hours of prospecting a day. Make those phone calls. Get your mindset right. And honestly, it is about mindset. So if I could leave you guys with something, I'd like to share a video that I did at Build because it touched my heart and it gets my ass out of bed every morning to get up and do what I need to do to be successful. So I'd like to share this with you if I could. Would that be all right, Elizabeth? It's a short.
I would love that. Yes, you've got sharing capability.
Okay. Ah, excellent. You got this all set up. Okay. So if you would just humor me here and honor me with your attention to this video, I think you're going to really enjoy it. All right. Can you guys all see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Enjoy.
What's stopping you? Are you too tired? Didn't get enough sleep? Don't have enough energy? Don't have enough time? Is that what's stopping you right now? Don't have enough money? Is that the thing? Or is the thing that's stopping you, you?
Excuses sound best to the person that's making them up. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Get off the pity potty. Telling everybody your sad and sob stories, trying to get people to show up to your pity potties and your pity parades. If you ever see me in a Rolls Royce, a 6 or 7 star hotel, living my life to the fullest, don't get jealous of me, because I worked my ass off to get it. Nobody handed me nothing. Wake your ass up. Awaken the beast inside. It's game on. It's go season. It's time for you to take advantage of the access and the resources that you have in your country and your community. You got a problem with your life. You got a problem with your environment. Do something about it. If you want it, go get it.
Recognize the excuses are not valid. They're conjured up, they're fabricated, they're lies. And how do you stop the lies? You stop the lies with the truth. And the truth is, you have time. You have the skill, you have the knowledge and the support and the willpower and the discipline to get it done.
The fruit of everything good in life begins with a challenge. Everything is uphill that's worthwhile. And it's not going to come to you, and it's not going to fall in your lap, and it's not going to be something that, oh my God, it just was so simple. It's always going to be difficult.
If you want it, you gotta go get it.
This is your chance. This is your shot. This is your moment. This is your time. This is your place. This is your opportunity.
This is my time. This is my moment. Tomorrow. Ain't no such thing as tomorrow. We only got today. It's your dream. If you wanted to have it, get your butt up and make it happen. If you wanted to have it, rise and grind.
You still got work to do. Stay on that basketball court. Stay on that football field. It's grind season, homie.
That's awesome.
Hey, you
I
missed
love
the
that.
best Part of that, it's grind season, homie. You at Build, who got one of my 300 t-shirts that we threw out into the audience. Those are collector's items, but it is grind season, homies. And if you guys will grind through this, okay, and don't focus on all of the negative, all of the bad stuff that's going on, focus on what you can control and just do the work. Put 40 hours a weekend. You realize that you can eliminate 90% of your competition if you'll do two things. Number one is work 40 hours a week. Get up and get out of bed and work until 5 o'clock. You know, most realtors don't go to work until 10 o'clock. You know why? Because they don't want to get tied up in rush hour traffic. Most realtors leave the office about 3 o'clock. You know why? They don't want to get in rush hour traffic. That's number one. You'll eliminate 50% of your competition if you'll just show up 40 hours a week. The second thing is if you'll just return your phone calls. Return your calls, communicate with your clients, you'll eliminate another 50%. I mean, at the end of the day, you can eliminate 90% of your competition if you'll just do those two things. Okay. All right. So I want to send you much love from Prosper, Texas, and thank Elizabeth for asking me to hop on today. It's great to see everyone. I see a lot of success in this group, and you guys, man, I'll tell you what a great place to be in this tough environment where you've got the collaboration. You know, friends, I got to tell you something. All those other people at other brokerages that are competing with each other, we don't compete at this level. We collaborate. And this is just an example of how we collaborate together. So I send you guys much love. Get out there, go do the grind. It's grind season, homie. Let me know what I can do to serve you guys. All right.
Cliff, you're amazing, my friend. Enjoy your day. Y'all stay on for a few more minutes. Cliff, I appreciate you and I adore you. Thank you.
You got it. Anytime. Thanks, Elizabeth. Pleasure to be here.
All right, my friend. Y'all, the other thing to add, don't be a secret agent, right? Number 3, if people don't know what we're doing, then how can we help them? So there's a huge opportunity right now. NAR is showing that 60,000 agents have already gotten out of the business. That's not going to be anybody on this screen because we're showing up, we're plugging in, we're pouring into each other, we're helping each other grind, right? In whatever that looks like. And everybody on here, we all do business in different ways, but that doesn't mean one's better than the other. That means, hey, what can I learn from, Laura? What can I learn from Julia? What can I learn from Stephanie? We can all learn from each other, and we're just plugging in and showing up together and succeeding. So the Friday morning huddles, I love this because it's like our small little group, because so many times we're spread thin with all the trainings and things like that. But there's a ton of training in the tribe group. Make sure you're going to that, put them on your calendars. They're on my calendar. If I don't have a conflicting meeting, I'm there. Clubhouse, every single morning, y'all show up to Clubhouse. There's so much fire going on and collaboration in Clubhouse while you're driving to the coffee shop, while you're driving to wherever you're driving. I mean, there's no excuses, like Cliff said. And then our Thursday huddles and things like that. So plug in, we've got about 5 minutes left. What is something you guys are struggling with, or anything anybody wants to share right now or ask a question?
I will share. I have a listing that's been sitting on the market now for probably about 50 something days. Picture perfect house. We've lowered the price. It's in Round Rock. Sellers are offering buy down. I think at this point they're just willing to take an offer. Like, they don't really care about how much return they're making. So I don't know what else to do.
So Julia, here's what I would suggest in that situation. The market's crazy. We talked about this a little bit, just because buyers are taking more time. Y'all, there's so much uncertainty in this buyer with the lending rates and things like that. I'm going to give you a very personal example. I'm personally buying a property for all of us to, like, it's going to be awesome for all of us whenever I get this thing done. We were supposed to close last Monday. Okay, it's been a mess. I've got great credit. I've got no debt. I've got great income. I've got all these things. And even for me, it's been an absolute mess in the lending space. Okay, so if it's challenging for me, it's challenging for a whole lot of other people, and it's not a fun experience. And here's what happened. It got pushed. It's supposed to close today, not closing today. It might close next week. Guess where my rate is right now? Because lenders aren't lending as freely as they were before. My rate is 9.25. 9.25. Now, I have an out because in the contract it said 7%. And when I put 7%, that's when rates were in the high fives, thinking they'd go up, but 9.2. Now I have a decision to make. My decision is I can either walk away and say, hey, per the contract XYZ, I can try to renegotiate, which I'm trying to do, and they are livid, but it's not my fault. But it's still those conversations because the market is challenging. Julia, for you, what I would do is I would go in the MLS. You've got the reverse prospect. You've got on your gateways, you can see who all has people that match your house. And you get on the call and you start building those relationships with the agents, and you say, what can we do to encourage a showing? What can I do to encourage an offer? We just did that with one of mine. Mine's a 1.6 in Georgetown. It's just sitting there. When we're talking about buyers being picky right now, I literally sitting on this call just got feedback from them saying, well, there's some hangers in the wall, some nail hangers in the wall where really you're not gonna move forward on a house because there's some nail hooks on the wall that we can easily take out and patch up and what have you. So you've got to figure out what that is. And I wouldn't have known that if we weren't having these conversations. Pick up the phone, say, what is it that we can do? Get your fellow agents in there, get feedback. I've had to do that on some of the Steiner listings. I had Alicia go in as an agent, have people that are in the market giving feedback so you can go back to your sellers. Again, like Cliff said, we've got to be priced better. The perfect ones are sitting there, but there's still a lot of competition and buyers are not moving as quickly as they were before. So you just have to step out a little bit and let your sellers know, look, I'm doing this. This is how many people I talk to. This is how many people we're getting the property in front of. So they know you're working for them, and just stay in constant communication. That's my feedback. Anybody else can step in as well, but it's not just them.
Okay, yeah, I've reached out to all the folks who sold the home, and in honesty, we've had 9 showings. I've gotten feedback from about 4 people, and only one of them said something negative. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
it's on a corner lot and the street is busy. And I'm like, okay.
Calling people that have sold listings over there or sold buyers don't really help as much unless you call them and say, did you have multiple offers? And can you put me in touch with some of those clients? But it's just, I mean, it's so brutal too. We have a lot of buyers that are like, it's 108 degrees. I'm not going to go look at property. We've got a lot of people that are coming back from vacation. We've got a lot of people getting ready for school. It's kind of that perfect storm right now. So it's hard for everybody. And so again, it's just like constant communication when you're going in listings, look, it's going to take us a little longer because these are the things that we're seeing in the marketplace, and we're collaborating with top agents from all over the city and all over the state. And this is what we're seeing. The other thing, Julia, and anybody else in Austin or Austin area, every single Tuesday morning in the Austin Metro group in Workplace, the top producers go live with a market pulse. And what's been great about that is we've got some people that are so numbers driven. I'm not numbers driven, but he's pulling stats and numbers, and we're dissecting that information. And all of us are taking that information back to our clients. We were doing this anyway. And then all of a sudden we realized how valuable this was. And so that's why we're live streaming in there. So that's something I'd plug into, because that's giving you some conversation starters or conversation pieces to have with your clients in this market, where everybody's experiencing the same thing.
Where exactly in Workplace on Tuesdays? In what
Austin
group?
Metro.
The Metro group? Okay.
Austin
My
Metro
sellers.
group at 10 a.m. and it's recorded in there. Hi,
Okay.
Nicole.
Yeah, no, they're not, I'm more of the one that's like, let's get this sold, like, so, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Nicole, were you going to say something?
clients.
I just wanted to add, like, preemptively for anybody that's going to have any listings coming to market, something that's been pretty impressive to me in a couple of the communities that I've got listings in right now. Before agents are bringing their listings live and active, and even before they photographed them, they're reaching out to all the active and pending agents and posting the market and asking them to bring any of their previous buyers in or whatnot. And I think that's been really successful for them. In
That's a good idea,
in 2 instances, the homes in this market went under contract before they came to market.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
that's
think
good.
just as before you bring your listings to market with your pricing strategy, reaching out to the agents who are active in the market right now is really helpful too. I think that's an extra added step.
Love it. Love it. All right. You guys are rock stars. We're at the top of the hour. I hope this was helpful. I'm going to bring in other people. I love Cliff. He's done some pretty big things, y'all. I mean, the guy has like 11,000, 12,000 agents under him as well. So he's doing a lot of different things. So if you don't follow Cliff, follow Cliff. We'll have some other people coming in on Fridays. If you need anything between now and then, you know where to find me. You know where to find all of us. Plug in, show up, and we're all going to succeed together. So have an amazing weekend, and we will see you guys next week.
All right, bye.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Thank
Anytime.
you.
Bye, guys.